boop, boop. Another day, another dollar. Thank the Lord for another 24. God, I knew that was you. I'm finna head into work. Where's all my night shift hustlers at, man? The night shift crew. Y'all know how we do. Quick video, though, man. I'm going to drop another correctional officer video for all my people that's going through the hiring process, about to start. You know, some things to remember. The most important things to remember working inside of a prison, being a correctional officer. The number one thing, I put this over even the security of the prison, man, is your safety. That's the number one thing, your well-being and your safety, man. Making it in there and making it out in one piece. Going in, coming home how you came in, you know. That's the number one thing, staff safety, you know. You gotta always be on your toes, always be looking over your shoulders. It's just the nature of the beast. It's the kind of environment we work in. We dealing with felons, high security inmates. I'm seeing a lot. What's happening in the prison system is a lot of high security inmates. They are working their way down and they're trickling down from the high security penitentiaries to the medium security prisons to the low security prisons. You know, they starting to trickle down. Some of the medium security prisons are becoming like overflows for high security prisons because they're running out of space, you know. So medium security may start being classified as a high security. They starting to call some of the federal prisons that's mediums, they're starting to call them medium highs. And the stuff that's happening in USPs, the penitentiaries, a lot of stabbings, violence, you know, homicides in there, it's starting to trickle down in the prison system. So just know, going into it, all my people that already work in corrections, you got to constantly be on your toes. You never want to get lackadaisical. Always try to be alert at all times, because you never know when shit's going to hit the fan, when it's going to go from 0 to 100, man. And it can happen at any time. It could be on night shift. I done seen shit happen on every shift. Night shift, evening shift, day shift, during the middle of the week when everybody's there, the executive staff, holidays, weekend, it doesn't matter, man. When it goes down, man. When the body alarm go off, and that means it's an emergency, man, staff needs assistance, it's game time. It goes from 0 to 100, man. And it, like I said, it can happen at any time. Like I said, I work on night shift, and there's been times in the middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning, we had to put a team together and go into a cell in the lockdown unit and extract the dude from his cell, man, because he was just out of control. I'm talking about 2, 3 in the morning. We had to physically go in there, remove him from his cell, and put him in the 4-point position where he's like strapped to like a bed. He's like, his hands are strapped, his feet are strapped, you know. That was a crazy night. That just goes to show you, it doesn't matter when, it doesn't matter where. If it's going to go down, it's going to go down. The next important thing to remember, I put right underneath, it might be, I say almost even, but right underneath is the safe and secure running of the institution. Security. Always think security, 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 baby. Our number one job while we in there is to make sure that the inmates don't escape. You know, that's the number one job. It's just like a football team. Their number one goal is to win a Super Bowl, or a basketball team win the NBA championship. Our number one goal is to make sure all the inmates are accounted for at all times. You know, at all times. There's times where inmate may be there, but we can't find him. You know, we calling them, paging them on the overhead. The loudspeaker is going through the whole prison. If we can't find him within a certain amount of time, then they're going to recall all the inmates back to the unit, and then we're going to have to count, and we're going to have to count until we find them, man. A lot of times they end up being somewhere. I remember one time there was an old man. He was hard of hearing. He was in education the whole time. We was looking for this dude. We finally found him, but you have to be safer than sorry. That's our main objective, man. Security minded, baby. Because the inmates, man, they'll do anything they can. Some of these dudes have a history of escaping, you know, so they'll do anything they can. Any kind of way they can circumvent the system and escape, you know, they're going to try it. There's plenty of inmates at my prison. You know, they have a history of escaping, man. You read their file on the computer, they have a history of escaping from the jails. It's one dude, man, he has to do a 2-hour check-in, meaning wherever he's at within the prison, he has to check in with the staff member every 2 hours, and they have to call it into the control center because he has a history of an escape, you know. And we've seen the movies, you know, portrayed in movies like The Shawshank Redemption, Prison Break. You know, that shit, some of that shit, it happens in real life, man. There are actually escapes. My county jail I worked at when I first started working in corrections, I keep tabs on it. I Google it sometimes. There was an escape there. A dude, he mistakenly went through R&D. He wasn't supposed to get released. He walked right out the front door, man. Then he went on the run. They caught him 2 weeks later, you know. But that's the most important thing, man. Security. You know, these inmates will try anything they can. They'll hide in a damn mail truck. They'll try to get the mail truck going out to the post office. They'll try to hide underneath the mail truck, man. That's why when any kind of trucks or delivery trucks come in through the rear gate, the back gate in the prison, the officer working back there has to have a mirror where they can visually look underneath the truck. They have to open up the hood of the trunk, open up the cargo. They have to inspect it and make sure no inmates are in there. What comes in on that delivery is the same thing that needs to be coming out, you know. When they do the trash delivery, the trash pickup, when they're picking up the trash every few days, there's certain, depending on the prison you work at, there's certain procedures, you know, that are in place to ensure security of the prison. Make sure the security of the prison isn't compromised. For instance, the main thing we do as correction officers, we count. You know, when I go to work here in a little bit, we're going to count at midnight. Then we're going to count again at 3 a.m. Then we're going to count again at 5 a.m. The main purpose of that count is to account for every inmate. So I got my flashlight. I'm walking through my unit. I'm making sure everybody's there. You know, I'm making sure nobody has hurt themselves. Nobody's having a medical emergency. That's what security is all about, working in the prison. You always got to think security minded. Always be locking doors, you know, checking doors, making sure stuff is locked up. Always lock the door to your office. Anything, man. You pat down inmates. You searching their cells. If something seems suspicious, like they got a lot of torn up, like say they got a towel and it's torn up to pieces, your instincts should be going off, man. Something is up, you know. They always, like I said, I'm always thinking, always want to be on your toes. They could possibly be trying to fasten and make a rope to try to go over the fence and escape. You know, I've seen inmates climb over the fence, get through the barbed wire, and they get in between the fences. They're running back and forth. I think the officer that was working out in the perimeter patrol that day, this happened a couple years ago at the prison I'm at, he actually had to get the shotgun out the truck, and he fired a warning round, you know, until the inmate got on the ground, until the staff could get there and get him, you know. So that's our #1 objective working in the prison, the security of the institution. We're not trying to make sure nobody escapes. The safe running of the institution, you know. We trying to avoid and prevent fights, inmates smoking drugs, having contraband, you know, stuff they're not supposed to have, cell phones, drugs, you know, all kind of stuff, man. These inmates are clever. They have 24 hours, you know, to think of ways they can circumvent the system, try to get around. They do, when they go, their family comes in for visitation. You know, that's when a lot of drugs come in that way. You know, they could be kissing their wife or girlfriend, and she could have balloons full of heroin or drugs in her mouth, and she could be exchanging when they kiss. Or she may throw something real quick, and he sticks it in his pants, stuff like that. That's why when we get done with the visitation, we search them. You know, there's cameras in the visitation room so the SIS department can watch, you know, make sure that nothing fishy is going on. I've seen inmates swallow balloons full of drugs. They have to go on observation. They have to go sit in the cell, isolated, until they use the bathroom. And then the staff member has to go through their feces and recover the drugs. That's how serious this shit is, man. This shit is for real. Corrections 101, security, safety, you know. If it's a fight going on in the unit, man, never try to break that shit up by yourself. If it's just you, it's 100 inmates on you. You always, 10 times out of 10, you're always outnumbered working in the prison, you know, working on the unit. So you on the unit, you working, you chilling, all of a sudden you hear a whole bunch of shoes sound like they squeaking and scuffling. You hear fists getting thrown, and you get up, you see it's a fight going on. Don't run into the middle. You don't know what's going on, man. They could be trying to set you up. They could be trying to goddamn get you to run in there, then a whole bunch of other inmates jump on you, you know? So just stand back. You know, this is what I do. I stand back. I tell them to stop fighting. I get on my walkie-talkie. I'm like, Control, I got to fight on such and such unit. Then Control's going to let everybody know. They're going to get on the radio and say, all available radio units, we got to fight in such and such unit. Staff needs assistance, such and such unit. Then your backup's going to be coming, you know. But don't never just jump in between two inmates fighting, you know. Let them tire each other out. Let them fight, man. You know, of course, tell them to stop. You know, command them. You know, you tell them, yeah, break it up, stop fighting, stuff like that. You know, knock that shit off. If you got to, you know, say it's a more serious fight. Like I say, man, it's a lot of violence that go on, especially in these high security prisons. They got a knife, man. They putting that knife to work. You want to pull out a homemade weapon, a shank, stabbing another inmate. Make sure you convey that to Control. I got to fight on such and such unit. Inmates, weapons involved. We got weapons involved. We got a knife involved, whatnot. And you know, you got to do what you got to do. Steer clear. If you can, maybe if y'all carry OC pepper spray in your prison, shoot, whip that pepper spray out. Spray that shit. Air that shit out. Spray them like you spraying some weeds. You know, whatever you got to do. But just make sure you stay at a safe distance, because it's all about staff safety first, you know. You don't want them to fight, you know, say one stabbing the other. I know I wouldn't want the inmate to kill the other inmate, but shit happens and whatnot. But I'm not finna throw myself into the middle of it and potentially catch a knife to the neck. You know, we wear stab-proof vests. Now, I don't have mine on right now, and I'll put it on when I get dressed to go to work in a second. But yeah, the director of the Bureau of Prisons made it to where all institutions from high security on down to the low were required to wear stab-proof vests. You know, I think they made that a law after a CO got killed at a high security. It was up in Pennsylvania. I want to say USP Canaan back in like 2011 or 13. He got stabbed like 113 times, I think, by this inmate. I don't know all the details of it, man, but I just know it was crazy. I read some of the details. He was going to lockdown, and he got into it with a couple inmates. They kicked him down the steps, the CO, the officer, and they got on top, man. They was just stabbing him, man. He ended up dying. So they made that a requirement. I think after that, you know, that we have to wear the stab-proof vest and whatnot. Your communication skills, that's an important thing to remember. Your de-escalation skills. My fault, y'all, I'm sweating. I don't know, I get kind of amped up. I just got out the shower, so I'm kind of sweating. But your communication, your de-escalation skills are critical. That's another important thing to remember in there, man. There's no guns in the prison. You know, all they give us really, where I work at, walkie-talkie. That's our, like, communication. Radio, what I said, our spray, the pepper spray, handcuffs, and that's it. The keys to the unit, that's it. You ain't got no special weapons, no nunchucks, brass knuckles, no guns, no shit like that, man. So a lot of it, when it comes to being successful in corrections, is using your verbal mouthpiece, your verbal communication skills, de-escalation skills. When shit hits the fan, you got an inmate, man, he goes from here to here. If you can possibly talk him back down and use your communication skills and whatnot, it'll save you a whole lot of trouble. You know, I've been in plenty of situations, man, where you got an inmate out of control, irate, mad about who knows what. He might not have got his commissary. The CO before trashed this cell. You just came on shift. Now he pissed off. He trying to take it out on whatever staff member is on the unit. You ain't had nothing to do with it. You know, sometimes you got to de-escalate, talk stuff down. He may, like I said, he may not have got his commissary or anything, man. You know, so a lot of times I've been in situations where all it took was a phone call to get the situation straightened out. You know, I tell the inmate, you know, I'm not making no guarantees, but if this is a problem, you know, I try to make a phone call to whatever department, whatever issue. He may have an issue with medical. They're not trying to see him. I'll be like, okay, let me call down there and see what's going on. I see what I could do, you know. A lot of times that has squashed the whole situation right there. You know, they'd be like, okay, just check back with me in a little bit and I'll let you know, you know. Always have your co-workers back. Always, because we all, as correctional staff working in the prison, we're always outnumbered. It's always, the prison I work at now is probably about 5,000 inmates and maybe total, maybe like 1,000 staff members. And then, like I said, as an officer working in a unit, most of the units I work, it's always 50 inmates and up to one officer. Some units, man, the unit I work now, my unit now that I'm about to go in and work tonight, right now, in about an hour or so, last night when I worked, it was 116 inmates and it's just me. So that tells you you're always outnumbered. So when shit hits the fan, you got staff needs assistance, you need to be busting your ass to wherever that emergency is at so you can help out, man, because you got to think we're always outnumbered. You don't know what the situation is, how bad it is, how many inmates are involved, if it's an isolated incident. You know, you just don't know. Inmates coordinate shit. You know, they may be like, okay, we're going to make some shit happen over here. So when they call all the CO, staff, these assistants over here, then we're going to really pop the shit off over here on this unit. They think like that. You got to think how they think. You know, this is what it is. You know, it's like strategizing, man, working in the prison, man. You always got to be on your toes, man, because you just never know what can go down. Anything can happen, man. I done seen it all in my 12 years working corrections. Homicides, inmate hanging themselves and left me to find them, fights, inmates getting stabbed, riots, natural disaster, inmate trying to escape, inmate having a medical emergency, dude had 2 heart attacks. I had to save his life. I had to do CPR. I actually saved his life. You just never know what can happen, man. Like, you think you've seen it all, man. I'll go in there, man. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm going to expect today, man. You know, I just go with the flow. Once stuff happen, we deal with it to the best of our ability, and we move on, baby. That's what it's all about. Those are the keys. Those are the principles, the main things you want to remember when you're working inside of a prison. Y'all like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, at The Ghetto Bodybuilder. Shop with me on my website. I got merchandise for sale, www.theghettobodybuilder.com. I got a lot of hoodies, T-shirts. A lot of it's gym, fitness related. You know, go on my website, check it out, man. You see something you like, go ahead and cop it, man. Support your boy. Show me some love and whatnot, man. But yeah, always keep those things in mind. The top 2, like I mentioned, the security of the institution and your well-being and your safety are the most important things, man. Always keep them in the back of your head, man, like it's inside your brain, you know, and you will do just fine working in your career, baby. I wish you nothing but the best. To my people that's working now, man, I wish y'all continued success, man. Hope you finish out strong in your career, baby. Y'all know how we coming. Let's get motivated.